Most dreams do not die because people stop wanting them. They die because no one ever gave them a clear place to begin. Have you ever promised yourself at night that tomorrow would be different? Tomorrow you will wake up early. Tomorrow you will exercise. Tomorrow you will study. Tomorrow you will stop wasting time. And in that quiet moment, the future feels close. You can almost see the better version of yourself. But then morning comes. The alarm rings. The room feels heavy. The phone is within reach. And before the day has even begun, the person you imagined last night slowly fades away into the same old routine. This is the story of Ethan, a man who had goals, but no doorway for those goals to enter his life. Ethan was not lazy. At least, that was not the whole truth. Every night before sleeping, he imagined a better version of himself, someone who used time with purpose. In the silence of the night, that version felt real. He could feel the discipline, the confidence, the energy, the life he kept promising himself he would build. But morning had a different power. His hand would reach for the phone. One notification, then another, then a short video. And just like that, the first part of his day would disappear. Ethan had motivation. That was the confusing part. He watched videos about discipline. Some nights, he felt so inspired that he believed the next morning would finally be different. But motivation had a pattern. It came when the future was easy to imagine and disappeared when the first action required effort. At night, change felt emotional. In the morning, change required a decision. Should I start now or later? Every unanswered question gave the old routine more space. One evening, after another wasted day, Ethan sat in a quiet cafe with his notebook open. The page was full of goals. An older man named Mr. Harris noticed him. He sat nearby and spoke gently. "Ethan, your problem is not that you don't want to change. Your problem is that your habits have no clear beginning." Ethan looked at him quietly. Mr. Harris pointed toward the notebook. "These are goals. But a goal alone does not tell your body what to do next. If you say, 'I will exercise,' your mind can delay it. Later, when I feel ready. But if you say, 'I will walk at 6:30 in the park,' the habit becomes clear." That night, Ethan opened his notebook again. But this time, he did not write another big promise. He wrote one simple sentence: "I will walk for 20 minutes at 6:30 p.m. in the park near my apartment." The sentence looked small, but it was different. Before this, exercise was only an idea. Now it had a time, a place, and a first step. The habit was no longer floating somewhere in the future. It had entered the day. Ethan looked at the sentence again. For the first time, the goal did not feel emotional. It felt practical, and that mattered. The next evening, 6:30 arrived. Ethan looked at the sentence he had written. 6:30 p.m., the park, 20 minutes. There was nothing left to decide. He did not need to feel ready. He only needed to follow the plan. So he put his phone down. Then he put on his shoes. He opened the door and walked outside. It was not a life-changing walk, but it was a real one. And sometimes, the first real action matters more than the perfect plan. After a few days, Ethan noticed something. The walk was not only changing those 20 minutes, it was changing the hours around it. On the nights he walked, he slept a little better. After better sleep, the morning felt lighter. When the morning felt lighter, starting work felt easier. Ethan began to understand. He did not need to change his whole life at once. He only needed to choose the next link in the chain. A few days later, Ethan met Mr. Harris again. He told him about the walks, the small changes, the better sleep, the lighter mornings. Mr. Harris smiled. "Good," he said. "You've learned something important." "What?" Ethan asked. "One action can lead to another." Then Mr. Harris pointed toward Ethan's coffee cup. "Tell me, do you drink coffee every morning?" Ethan nodded. "Every day." "Good," Mr. Harris said. "Then stop trying to build new habits from nothing." Ethan looked confused. Mr. Harris continued. "Attach the new habit to one that already exists. After your coffee, write your most important task. After brushing your teeth, read 1 page. After dinner, prepare your walking shoes. The old habit becomes the reminder for the new one." Ethan sat quietly. For years, he had tried to force habits into empty space. Maybe that was why they never lasted. The next morning, Ethan tried it. After making coffee, he opened a notebook. Then he wrote down the most important task of the day. That was all. Nothing impressive, no 2-hour morning routine, no complicated system, just coffee, then notebook, then 1 task. The next day, he did it again. Coffee, notebook, 1 task. Slowly, it began to feel natural. The coffee became a signal. The notebook became the next step. For the first time, Ethan was not relying on memory. The habit was being pulled forward by another habit, and that made it easier. At first, Ethan wanted bigger results. He wanted longer workouts, more reading, perfect mornings. But Mr. Harris stopped him. "Don't build a habit that impresses people. Build a habit you can repeat." That advice stayed with Ethan, because every time he failed in the past, he had started too big. He wanted to change everything in 1 week. Then he became tired. Then he quit. This time was different. Small enough to start, simple enough to repeat. And repeated actions have a strange power. What feels small today often becomes normal tomorrow. Weeks passed. Ethan was not perfect. Some days he missed the walk. Some evenings he still wasted time. But something had changed. Before, his habits depended on motivation. Now they had a system. The walk had a time. Planning had a cue. Everything had a place. And because everything had a place, it happened more often. One evening, Ethan looked at the notebook that used to be filled with goals. For years, those pages were full of promises. Now they were full of actions. And for the first time, he understood something. Change does not always begin with a big decision. Sometimes it begins with a clear one. Now think about your own life. Which goal have you been delaying? Exercise, reading, studying, waking up early, starting your work. Do not just write the goal. Give it a beginning. Write 1 sentence. I will do this habit at this time in this place. Or, after this habit, I will do that habit. Write your sentence in the comments. Maybe your one clear sentence can become the beginning of a new routine. If this story helped you, like the video. Share it with someone who keeps waiting for the right time to start. And subscribe for more simple, powerful stories about habits, psychology, discipline, and the hidden patterns that shape our lives. Because a goal becomes real when it enters your day, and a habit becomes powerful when it no longer depends on motivation. It simply becomes the next thing you do.